Hello, my name is João Pedro Cerqueira. I'm from FuelBigData, and we are here today to showcase you our Cloud.Risk solutions, so you can analyze risk on cloud services and evaluate comparatively service to services. Our product is called InsureYourTech.Cloud, and it's a product that we are submitting for VC and submitting for evaluation at Techstars. So in InsureYourTech.Cloud website, you can log in. So I'm going to sign out on my account. And there's a page which is only accessible via sign-in called Cloud.Risk Simulation, where if you sign in, you can do a risk simulation. So you type here the name of your company, you put the vendor details, and you do an assessment of your product. Okay, that's the general idea of these assessments. But what exactly is a cloud assessment? Okay, and let's go into detail of what it is a cloud assessment simulation. A cloud assessment simulation, it's our methodology to enable our customers to cross-compare services between cloud vendors. As you are aware, cloud vendors, they provide complex metrics, or even if you are not, cloud vendors, they provide complex metrics and service level agreements. So our InsureYourTech.Cloud allows customers to consult in one place and compare service level agreements and obtain information from those service level agreements and compare it with outage time detected during the financial year. So the simulations that we have here in InsureYourTech.Cloud allows us to calculate risk with a specific combination of technologies. So let's do here as an example simulation. For FuelBigData.com, I'm going to use a series of technologies. So example, I might use AWS QuickSight for visualization, and I might want to compare it with Google Cloud GCP Data Studio. If I submit the data, there's summary metrics and individual vendor metrics here, but on an individual level, you can see that Amazon QuickSight only used 20% of their annual credit for SLA, while Google Cloud Data Studio use 80% of the credit SLA. But neither of these technologies has used more than SLA, so in the real world they have been reliable, respecting and meeting the SLAs. I'm going to add here another tool, which I already know that has already not been as successful, which is Microsoft Azure Power BI. And in Microsoft Azure Power BI, the service reliability has not been as good. And as a direct consequence, they've used more than their allowance SLA. Actually, Microsoft Cloud, to be fair, they offer a better SLA agreement to that customers of uptime for their service of 99.99%. So they guarantee on SLA that if the product is not up 99.99% of the time, a customer is entitled for 10% of service credit back. In this case, in some months, they have achieved way beyond that with a total accumulation of the year, which represents sort of like 13 times more than expected, with an annual downtime of this amount of minutes, while the expected downtime is this for this SLA. Had they had an SLA of 99.95, this was the expected downtime, and they had an SLA of 99.90, this was the expected downtime. In the real world, they have an downtime period which is extremely high for this year, and as a consequence, in some months, customers might be entitled for total compensation if they were impacted by these specific downtime periods. There's here an explanation of what the cloud risk ratings mean, what is a service SLA, what is a service credit back in case of compensation mechanism for not meeting the corresponding SLAs, and then the correspondent metrics and ratios that here at FuelBigData, we calculate with our product, InsureYourTech.Cloud. So we have a more detailed customer portal, which we are going to go live soon by the end of this year. And if I submit here, random company name here, beautiful company. Beautiful company for AI. I'm going to use AWS, GCP, and Azure. I'm going to put that I use Akamai, Cloudflare, MongoDB, Salesforce, Databricks, Snowflake, and use every single possible service, and then I'll do a simulation for every single one of these cloud vendors and do a bit of a cross comparison. Okay, by service type and by it's going to fulfill with every single possible technology, so you have an understanding of how comprehensive is our product and evaluate this situation. So here our product that runs here in local mode consulted our APIs of services, which we are going to enable before the end of this year, and evaluates the general overall metrics, giving you a perspective by cloud vendor of how much of the SLAs have been met on Amazon, Google, and GCP, what type of SLAs they offer. Azure typically offers 10% credit back when 99.99% of the time is not met, while GCP offers 10% credit back on 99.95, while Microsoft Azure offers below 99.90% of usage accessible time for the services. They offer credit compensation. Also metrics about other different vendors here. I'm not going to go into detail. What I'm going to go into detail is onto how we can cross compare equivalent services. Example, if I use Amazon QuickSight, and if I use on the other end, I use Google Cloud Data Studio. I think that Google Cloud Data Studio. So I see that Google Cloud Data Studio have used 83% of their SLA. The SLA service at 99.95 as traditional for Google Cloud products. The risk deviation rating, it's relatively good. Out of 999 points, they have 997, so just lost 3 points over the year. These are our proprietary metrics. That's what we calculate on the background. And their expected downtime this year was 268 minutes. That's the expected by SLA. But their actual downtime was 220 minutes this year up to date. So customers using it, they didn't have downtime distribution that would give back credit back, which is good. It means the service was reliable year to date. Example in Amazon QuickSight, similarly, they just used 20% of their SLA. The actual expected downtime up to 500 minutes. They only had 108 minutes downtime this year. By comparison, if we go to Microsoft Azure, Power BI, which is declared here on the list, you see that in Microsoft Azure Power BI, they use way beyond 13 times of their SLA because they offer a great service SLA of 99.99%. This is the new SLAs that they have released in early November. So if this SLA of uptime is not met, they offer a service credit back of 10%, and by this SLA and this expected downtime is relatively low. So this SLA gives compensation for from the 53rd minute onwards, or 52nd and a half. So every period of downtime above 53 minutes accumulated on the month, they give compensation for the product downtime. So in this case, the product downtime estimates that the max credit might be up to the total costs and monthly usage of the account. So per every £1,000 spent on credit on a month on this product, you might have £1,000 of compensation if you were totally impacted on periods that you had this service down. So now let's look and do some analysis of risk using our graph solution. So in the background, we have our core graph, which allows us to identify and see a holistic view of services. So this runs on the background. I'm just going to launch it here one more time. So it just has the last run. So in this last run, we had our company details. Here we had specific medians, and we have the comparables between cloud vendors, and then the correspondent services used by those cloud vendors. So and that's the use case that we have here, where we benefit from graph analysis. We can compare the value add of different products. I'm going to expand here to all the services that got requested. I think there was about 100. It's going to become a bit confusing, but trust me, this is logical and would make sense. So for every single service here in use, they are associated to this blue little circle, which represents a technology provider. The orange represents the customer and the risks of the customer for the combination of these solutions. And then every single service has their risk SLA, and then the service SLA not being met by the service SLA is not being met or being met by customer, and their medians. So you can cross compare from technology provider AWS to technology provider Google or technology provider Microsoft Azure, so you can have a bit of an idea which of your cloud providers might be more suitable. So you can use this level of information to facilitate scenarios where you might opt to swap one technology to the other because this technology became less reliable, and because you were in situations where you couldn't trust the technology to deliver the value of your product. So that's the value add of the customer portal from FuelBigData in our product InsureYourTech.Cloud. How do we do this? So we have extracted information about cloud outage in batch mode. We have a batch mode analysis system. So I'm going to run here a small use case run of something that happens under the hood in the background. So imagine that you have service outage information and you want to analyze it and synthesize it. So you upload an information report that has been web scraped in our systems, or the system can web scrape information and obtain PDF report. And then what we can do is we can interrogate information about that outage. So in the text from Azure Cloud, resume the outages, services impacted, and regions, availability zones. On the outage, also resume downtimes by service. Okay, and this is the kind of query that we run on the background for our resume analysis. So we don't actually go physically and read every single one of these reports. We obtain the information, we synthesize it in our workbench, and then from our workbench, we translate this information with the support of large language models, where we export this information and then we insert it in our core databases so it can be used by our customer APIs. This is the first pass of the product, and it's in development. We are gradually expanding more and more metrics. We have about 100 metrics at the moment on our API, and we have 12 cloud vendors and about 200 service combinations. So you can combine any technology with any technology. At the moment, the product is a bit of self-service, so you need to understand a bit of cloud on how to use it. But we're going to build a new generation of interface where the customer will just be asked if they use business intelligence, what services they use, if they use what regions, what markets, and it will be more comprehensive and more easy to use from a user experience perspective. At the moment, the product is a bit technical, but we are gradually pushing a lot of effort to finish the databases and the APIs so we can serve the information better to our customers. This is our product. It's available in InsureYourTech.Cloud. Thank you very much for the time on the demo today. And I hope you like it, and I hope to do business together with you. Thank you very much.